Accommodation, food, doing activities, doing tours, going out drinking, all of that about £1,000 each. But then you've also got to take into account your flights and your visas and any extra money you might need for emergencies. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We are Travels with Ty and Soph.
We have been travelling since January 2022, so about 6 months now. We decided to quit our jobs and travel through Southeast Asia.
So in this video, we're going to break it down for you and answer the question, how much money do you really need to go backpacking in Southeast Asia? Let's go! So, question one, how much did we budget?
So when we first planned to come travelling, obviously we did our research and found around £35 a day on average throughout Southeast Asia is about how much you need to save, and that's what we aim to budget for. Obviously you're not spending £35 every single day. Some days you'll have cheap days where you won't really spend much. You'll do some sightseeing, rent a motorbike if you can, which saves a lot of money, and then some days you'll go on tours, trips, boat trips, which will obviously send you over budget for that day, but it all averages out about £35 a day.
So this £35 a day obviously doesn't include your visas, your flights, any other expenses you might come across. For example, I was in hospital, we had to pay for that. We've had to see a doctor a couple of times, and obviously you'll have insurance, but some people have excess to pay. You've got to think of these unexpected costs that you might come across.
Yeah, so your budgeting is your daily spending, so food, accommodation, maybe occasional drinking, nights out, and tours. 2, breakdown of costs. So how much do you need for all the other expenses that come with travelling? So obviously you've got your spending money, but you need money for flights, visas, all the other expensive things that come with travelling. So let's break them down.
Okay, so your most expensive flight is probably going to be when you're flying from your home all the way to Southeast Asia. You've got to check flight prices all the time because they're up and down. You're better to book it earlier. As soon as you know you're going to go travelling, get it booked. Book a single, don't book a return if you're going for like 2-3 months, because you don't know where you're going to finish, you don't know where you're going to need to fly home. So keep that in mind.
And then you've got your flights within your travelling. So of course you're going to be flying to one country, and then you'll need flights to other countries. So at the moment, some borders are closed, some are open, but hopefully by the end of this year, 2022, going into 2023, land borders should be open, which will make travelling around the countries much cheaper. We've had to experience the more expensive way. We've had to spend a lot more on flights, so make sure you budget enough for flights when you're actually travelling to. Obviously it depends on what countries you're planning on going to, so just do a little bit of research. On average there, like flights are around £50 to £300 on average. Obviously it depends where you're going.
So another thing you have to keep in mind is insurance. It's best to be insured when you're going away, especially for long periods of time. You just don't know what's going to happen. We paid up front for ours with a company called Direct Travel, and we paid about £800 for both of us, covered for 9 months. Next up, you've got your visas. So on average you spend between $30 to $50 each month on visas. Some countries obviously completely free. Just make sure you do your own research before you go to that country, and make sure you get your visas in place.
Vaccinations. Now this one's a bit of a funny one, because some people don't get any vaccinations at all, or just get the boosters, which are your Hep B, tetanus, you know, the ones you get when you're a child, they just get boosters. But then there are extra ones that are sometimes recommended. Rabies, for example, Japanese encephalitis.
Yeah, I think it's said like that. I'm not entirely sure how it's said.
Which we did get because I'm a warrior, and I'd rather be safe than sorry.
We did get quite a few jabs before we come out here, but some places recommend certain vaccines, so just make sure you check that with your local doctor.
It's all down to personal preference really, but that is something else you need to keep in mind when saving to come travelling.
Now let's talk about the 3 main things you're going to be spending your money on. Number 1 is your accommodation. You can either choose to stay in a hotel or a hostel. Hostels are obviously way cheaper. They come in between £2 and £7 for 1 bed in a dorm. You can also get private rooms in hostels, which obviously are a little bit more money. Hotels you're looking at between £10 and £20.
So obviously with hotel rooms, you've either got a double bed or a twin, so it can fit 2 people. Makes it the same price as if 2 of you stayed in a hostel. But if you're a solo traveller and you're staying in a hotel room on your own, obviously it's going to work out more expensive than staying in a hostel. second thing you'll be spending most of your spending money on while you're travelling is food and drink. So with food and drink, it varies greatly. You can choose to spend as little as possible by eating street food, or you can eat in restaurants, which will obviously cost a little bit more. So street food averages around 50p to £2 a meal, which is so cheap. And restaurants, you could expect us to pay around £2 to £8 per meal.
Yeah.
It really depends on where you are in Southeast Asia, the type of restaurant it is, and so forth. So you can make it as cheap as you like, really.
And then the third thing to spend your money on is tours. We spoke about this, but basically tours can vary so like crazy in price, so we can't really give an average. Some tours have been on for £5, some tours are £10, £20 on like mainly, but also you get £50 tours, you can also get £100 plus tours. So it obviously depends on what you want to do and how much it is really, but normally you can get cheaper prices if you know, haggle the price a little bit. Sometimes you can't, but check online also, because there's a lot of good websites out there. We'll put in the description.
So let's answer that question then. How much money do you really need backpacking Southeast Asia?
It's too loud. It's too loud. It's too loud.
Behind the scenes.
Loud.
YouTube versus reality.
Right, now that we're somewhere quiet.
Let's answer the question.
Okay, so the first lot of costs you have to think about are your flights. We flew from the UK to Thailand, which cost us £750 each return flight. We recommend you guys to book single flights because you don't know where you're gonna finish up.
Yeah, that was a mistake we made.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. You've also got to worry about your jabs. For us, we spent £380 each on our jabs because we got quite a few of them, but you might not even need to spend any of that. So
it is optional. It's how you feel about it. So the next cost is insurance. So obviously depends on where you're going, how long you're going for, what kind of cover you need. So we spent £400 each for 9 months on our insurance. There were a few extra things we needed cover for, so it might have been a little bit more expensive, so it all depends on you and how long you're going for.
And lastly is your visas. Just make sure that the country you're going to, you have your visa sorted. They're normally about £35 to £50, but some countries you don't even have to pay for the first month, so just make sure you check. So for us, before we even left England, it was £1,530 each, which I know sounds like it's a lot, but bearing in mind we paid our insurance up front, our flights up front, all of that kind of stuff. It can be different
Jabs.
for everyone. Yeah, jabs as well. It's different for everyone. Yours could be higher, yours could be lower. This is just an average number. Okay, now for the number when you're actually traveling. We've gone backwards and forwards on this one. For us, we spent about £1,000 each on spending money. So accommodation, food, doing activities, doing tours, going out drinking, all of that, about £1,000 each. But then you've also got to take into account your flights and your visas and any extra money you might need for emergencies. I think that number is anywhere between £100 and maybe £200 a month. So total, I would say £1,200 a month for everything, absolutely everything. But it can definitely be done cheaper than this.
If you're just staying in hostels, it can 100% be done cheaper. But like we said, we've had a mix of hostels and hotels. So it really just depends on what kind of traveller you are.
And also depends how much you're flying about from country to country, because obviously it's flights. Hopefully when the land borders open, it'll be even cheaper. But this is just a last number, like a big last number. But please let us know in the comments how much you're spending travelling, because we'd love to know.
Let us know if you've spent less than that while travelling or more than that. What kind of traveller you are. Are you a budget traveller? Are you travelling as a couple? Are you a solo traveller? Like, what kind of price are you paying while you're travelling Southeast Asia? Let us know in the comments.
Thank you for watching our video. Hope you liked it.
If you like it, then let us know in the comments and give the video a like and press that subscribe button and the notification bell.
Bye.
What are you laughing at?
Not laughing.
You are. And that and this. So let's
Stop it.
So let's answer that question. No, it's cheesy. No.